2023. We just going in. We'll get into the introduction stuff.
Okay.
But we're just going in.
Yes.
Finally.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. New Year to you too.
Right.
But I'm going to start with some sarcasm.
Okay.
Finally, because
right.
I mean, we finally landed the interview with Honey B.
Yes. I'm happy to be here.
You got a busy schedule.
Crazy.
You've been buzzing around. Like, what's been going on? How did 2022 end for you?
It was good. It was great.
It was good?
I work a lot, like you said, have a busy schedule. So it ended with, work and surpassing goals that I set for myself on the, business aspect, still doing radio and just, being a mom. So same old, but just busy and good. So blessed girl. Super
excited to have Honey B coming through Spin 100 today.
Yes.
This is the Randy Wilson podcast. You like 112?
Yes.
This is episode 112.
Yes, so, okay, period.
It's...
oh, I thought you was going to bring him out and sing or something. I was ready. Period.
No, we really happy to have you, honey. This has been an interview that we've been wanting to get for a while. We've been, we dance around the radio station talking to different personalities and DJs, and we can't not have the young OG.
Yeah.
I
agree with that.
Do you still identify as the young OG? And you're still young.
Yeah, so I do actually. I think it's dope to still be young, still be relevant, and still also feel like I've accomplished, so much for so long. So,
you have.
I think it's fitting.
So I think that's kind of where I want to start because if there's ever been a time, I've been in Richmond since 2003. We were talking right before the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in Richmond for 19
20 years.
Yeah,
wow.
19, almost 20 years.
Crazy.
Right? Dang, this is 23.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, this is 20 years in Richmond. Okay, so this is 20 years in Richmond.
Yep.
And as we were talking before, I feel like, I and we have kind of watched you grow up in radio.
Right.
And I don't know if there's ever been a time in Richmond radio, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if there's ever been a time in Richmond radio where we have seen as many women. Am I wrong? Am I wrong or not?
No,
I don't know.
That sounds fair to say. I agree with that. I agree.
I mean, I feel like when the Bad Boys, you was the only female.
Mm-hmm. On Bad Boy Radio.
On Bad Boy Radio. Yeah. I mean, when I think about 106.5 The Beat, I can't. I mean, there's some. Listen, we pay homage to the Rosetta Devines.
Of course. KDP, Clovia Lauren.
I don't want to dismiss anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but right now it just seems, not only in radio, but in life.
Right.
This is the time of the woman, and particularly the black woman.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So as the young OG, let's just get right in. I mean, you've trailblazed and mothered this process.
I have.
Can we talk about that? Because you've seen the change. You got Danny B. You have Lily Chanel.
Yes, I love these girls.
I don't know if Candace is doing radio right now. I know she's having a baby, but we've seen a new light. We've seen
a bunch of new girls.
A lot of people.
Scene.
Yeah. So like, what is it like? What role do you feel like you play? Sometimes I ask folks in hip hop, if hip hop had a government, I ask skills. If hip hop had a government, what role would you play? You say, I was senator, a governor. If radio has a government. Because you've got more or as much experience, and male or female.
Right.
There's a lot of people right now in the game.
Right.
What role do you play in that? Mentorship wise, just overall personality wise?
So I think even when I first started radio back in, I think it was like 2006, 2007, even from the beginning, I started mentoring, the younger women, the younger girls that are now doing amazing. So even to this day, like the girls you named, the Danny B's and the Lilis, and those are, the girls that are really killing it right now. But at some point, they've all come to me for some type of advice, or even, I'll listen to them and say, wow, you're killing it. You sound good. So I feel like I'm the big sister when it comes down to, the newer girls being in radio.
Yeah. What's the young lady? She's in Philly now. Paris.
Yeah.
So like we've seen Paris come through and move to Philly, which is obviously a big market.
Right.
Dominique the Diva.
Love her.
That's your sister in radio.
Right.
We've seen her in different markets, and we've seen you also do the same thing.
Right.
We've seen you come through Richmond. We've seen you leave. We've seen you come back. What contributed to you coming back to Richmond?
Absolutely. So I'm a mother first and foremost. Before, radio at first was like the most important thing.
Yeah.
But then obviously I had a baby. My son, he's 7 years old. So being that all of my family is, I'm born and raised in Richmond. My family's here. So my support system with, my son growing up and raising my son was the key factor in me coming back to Virginia.
We want to talk about him too, because he's super cute and he seems like he has a personality right now that's ready for TV.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He's an artist.
He gets it naturally on both ends. His dad's in the entertainment world as well, so he gets it naturally.
Okay. It's interesting. I set myself up when I talk to radio folks because you're so well put together. You're so well put together, like clearly polished and media trained. When you decide to end something, you end it. So it's on the other person to decide if they're gonna speak or have awkward silence or not. What contributes to how you developed as a media personality? By the way, my background outside of what people see in this realm is in communications, but more on the mental health side of things.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I find it very intriguing sometimes talking to radio personalities in regard to how they communicate because it's very. I'm not gonna say it's scripted, but it's. I'm not gonna say it's scripted, but it's. Radio has a sound.
Right.
You have a sound.
Right.
You know how to turn it on. What contributed to your development? Did you study this in school? Give me the background on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So even like before college and studying, in majors, I was the kid that was always watching Oprah. To this day, I don't think I've seen more than like 2 Disney movies. So I was never like Disney princess, Barbie kind of, kid.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to watch Sally Jesse Raphael. I want to watch Ricky Lake. I want to watch Oprah. And I studied them and I studied what they did. And at that time, being probably like, 10 or 11, I didn't know that was developing a craft that I was really passionate about. But just blossoming from there. And I got an internship at 92.1 when I was 18. Really just studying Big Nat, DJ Foot, even A+. We're the same age, but A+ is really like well beyond his years, well-rounded. Super knowledgeable. So studying the people that were my coworkers, and really, them pouring confidence into me that I didn't really know that, I had at that time. So just working with that group of guys was really, detrimental in me developing myself as a personality.
Where did you find your voice at? Because you have a voice.
Big Nat.
Yeah. The ultimate voice. The big voice.
And let me tell you, he's very slick. So when I was interning, I wanted to learn everything there was to know about the radio field. So not just, how to be on air, do interviews. I wanted to know what that looked like outside of the studio. So as you know, he's huge when it comes down to hosting and at the club scene.
Yeah.
So he and DJ Foot would be at Fort Lee, I think it was like the military club at the time, every Friday night. And I was like, I want to go. What does that look like, right? And so he's on the mic and he has this artistry about him. And I'm just like, well, I can't have my voice that deep, but I want to sound that powerful. And I never forget, he does this thing where he's going to pretend he has to go to the bathroom or has something to do. And he's going to disappear because he's going to put you in charge to see, like, are you paying attention? Do you really want this? Are you tapped in? You know what I'm saying? And so I'll never forget, even he did it in radio at the studio before, but we were at Fort Lee. And he went to the bathroom or something, left me with the mic, and that was my first time hosting, a concert or whatever. And I'm listening to the bass in his voice, and I'm like, as a woman, I don't want to sound squeaky. I want to still come across, kind of masculine but feminine at the same time. And I just kind of incorporated that into my voice, and it stuck. So even my regular voice, when I speak now, has a little bit of, raspiness in it, but really just watching his artistry and how people gravitate towards such a strong voice really motivated me to figure out my sound, so to speak.
Outside of Richmond, were there other female or male? I shouldn't lead it that way. I mean, how much does it matter for you as a personality, from an inspiration standpoint, to look at other women in radio, or does gender matter?
To be quite honest, I don't look at other women. I never have, honestly. Even when I was starting, and there were situations where, because I was so young, people would put me against certain women. That was a thing at that time. I think it probably still is a thing. But when you're thriving and there's another young woman thriving, they tend to make you guys feud or make there seem like, one should be better than the other. So I never really paid attention to what anybody else had going on because I was so confident in myself, honestly, that I just felt like if I continued to grow my own craft, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. And I'm still that way. So it's like, if I, am socializing with anyone else that's in the radio field, whether it's male or whether it's female, it's like, I really like you as a human, take away the radio. And I really like how you sound or how you do whatever you do. But I don't sit there and watch what anyone has going on. So a lot of times, like, people have to come to me and say, hey, have you heard about such and such is now at this station? I'm just like, I'm not tapped into anybody else, honestly.
That's dope. That's dope, boss.
Honestly.
That's great. You, iPower 92, this is the Randy Wilson podcast, by the way. Let me, before I, get too far into it. We are at Spin 100 a day, the house that Lonnie built, the heavy hitter, DJ Honey B. You've worked with Lonnie, obviously, for many years.
Yes, I love
Let's talk about that relationship. We can't have a conversation in Lonnie's space
right?
without talking about Lonnie, particularly when we're talking to his colleagues.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about that relationship?
Yeah, so I remember our relationship started when I was an intern, and I'm such a fan of Lonnie and his craftsmanship, and there's no one like him. And I tell him all the time, any chance I get to celebrate him, I tell him, like, there's nobody like you. And he's so humble, whereas I think there's, I've seen people that are not even on his level that are more boastful and, not as humble as he is. But he's so humble and so put together, and, you would never know that he has all these things going on because he's so humble. But the relationship started in my teenage years, and we've just grown as I look at him like a big brother. Yeah. Like, I'm such a fan of Lonnie that is crazy.
That's a great piece. Yeah. We'll clip that for sure. And I think Lonnie may have shared with me, you guys have had conversations about doing things, right?
Yeah, Lonnie's he's always been in my corner. He's always like, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, you're Honey B, you should go bigger. Like, you should be doing like this. And so honestly, a lot of the marketing that I did early on in my career, the buzzing all over your radio, and he had all these like B sound effects. I'm just pressing Lonnie's buttons, so I'm just using, whatever he's using.
So Lonnie was involved in the buzzing piece?
Yeah, absolutely. I got the buzzing. I was at the studio one day, and I was like, I need something to say. I can't just say like Honey B. And KJ from 105.7, he said, why don't you just say buzzing all over your radio? And I was like, that sounds so corny. He was like, look, that corny shit works. And I started saying it, and I started selling T-shirts out of my trunk with buzzing all over your radio. And I really was looking at Lonnie's hustle and stealing whatever he was doing. And I was like, well, I'm going to do that. Lonnie's selling, mixtapes, or he's putting mixtapes together, and he has all these parties going on. Like, I want to do that. So I started doing that like on the smaller scale or whatever. But it was definitely like, I looked at Lonnie, and I still do, as inspiration.
Yo, that's dope. Are you still buzzing?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know that ever go away, because in my mind you still buzzing. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't. We're gonna talk about this too. I mean, I listen to the radio. I just turn it on and like. But I'm more XM radio and I'm more podcast.
Same.
And so we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
But are you still? Is that still your thing? I'm buzzing all over the radio.
And honestly, I was working at 106.5 The Beat from. I moved back to Richmond in like 2016. And I started working back at 106.5 The Beat, I think in 2018, part-time. And when I was at The Beat, I took away the buzzing slogan, because I was just like, it's so childish. I did that like in my, teens, early 20s. I'm just going to be Honey B. And it was cool for the time being. But when I came back to Power, it just felt right. And I think I may have asked Lonnie, I asked, the OM at the time, or OM still, Matt. I asked a couple of people, like, should I still say buzzing all over your radio? I asked my son, who knows nothing about it. He was like, I like that, mommy. I was like, okay, we're going with it. Yeah. So it just felt right to be back at the station where I started my career. Yeah. To just, reinstate it. And so, I still say it.
When you went to 106.5 The Beat, did you feel like you was wearing an away jersey?
No.
No?
I don't ever take it that seriously with radio. And more importantly, I hadn't worked at Power in so long. I left Power in 2009 or 10. And so coming back to 106.5 The Beat all those years later, it was just like a restart, a reset button. Because I took some time off from radio. So it was like, okay, this is cute. This is cute.
I mean, oh man, it was cute.
It was cute.
It was cute.
Shout out to Mike Street. Like, he's amazing.
We can talk about Mike Street.
Well,
Mike Street,
he's
the
amazing.
Marconi recipient. You know, there's only like 5 black folk, I think, that's ever received that award. And, you know, we could put, this is where those fact checks come in.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
That's because, you know, him, like Steve Harvey, there's only a certain amount of people. We had Mike Street on the show. Mike Street is a legend.
A legend, top tier. So well respected.
But there's something that he and I disagree on, I think.
Lord, what's that?
Well, I mean, it's hard, like, he's a legend.
Yeah.
So, like, we've had this conversation, and I hope he listens to this because I'd like to have the conversation again about radio.
Okay.
Like, Mike Street will say that radio is the #1 medium for how people consume music. I'm not saying that it's not the #1 medium. Maybe, I don't know. Though.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, and I feel like, he's got to say that to some degree because, you know, I feel like he has to, but I also think that, well, I don't know. Maybe it's unfair. I don't know if he has to or not. It's his job. He's a boss.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's 50-50. Like, a part of him has to. But at the same token, he's so knowledgeable and does his research.
Yeah,
like
he might really know that.
He's a guy that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows. I guess I'll argue it a little bit. Is radio the #1? I'm asking you, do you think radio is the #1 medium for how people consume music?
I personally don't.
I mean, before you go into detail about that, I think that when we say consume, maybe he was referring to initial awareness of, like, radio may be the first place that you initially become aware of a song.
For sure.
But I don't know if I think that radio is where people spend the majority of
and
time.
I wouldn't even say that because now in knowing, because I'm on the radio still, a lot of these songs we play, they're on TikTok first. They're on social media first. And once they're hot enough to be popping on TikTok, we then convert them and like, oh, okay. So by the time they're on radio, we've already done the dances and the trends and all of that. So I don't know how the data charts work. I don't get that deep into it.
Yeah.
So Mike probably has some type of truth to, you know, what he's saying outside of just because it's his job.
Yeah.
But at the same token, just being, you know, on social media, sometimes you'll hear these songs and then you'll hear them on the radio or vice versa. So I think there's some truth to kind of, you know, both aspects of it.
Who do you listen to? Do you listen to XM? You listen to radio? What do you listen to?
I like XM. I listen to radio if I'm on it. I like to hear myself and critique myself. If I pre-record, so sometimes I may not be able to make it and I'll record the show, or if I'm live, I'll still listen, you know, play back what I listened or what I said.
All right, back up real quick. So how much of your stuff is pre-recorded versus live?
Probably 50-50.
Yeah?
Yeah. 50-50. It depends on what happened in the pandemic is a majority of the personalities in radio were able to broadcast from home. So a lot of radio stations are still making that an option for some. For some of us, we have the ability to go in and, you know, do the show live. And a lot of times RJ and I are live in the studio. Every now and then, if we have some family stuff going on and we have to, you know, record ahead of time, we'll do that. But I would say like 50-50 or 60-40.
What's your preference?
To pre-record. Pre-record is easier in the sense of I live a busy life. So it's easier for me to get in and get out and just pre-record. Yeah. But I also like the live aspect of radio. It always reminds me of when I first started radio and it keeps it, you know, interesting and fresh.
Yeah. So you listen to podcasts?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not a heavy podcast listener. So I'm not even gonna lie, I don't have a top 3 podcast or anything like that.
We're not in your top 3.
Listen, I love you, but no, like I watch a lot of your stuff on social media. But I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a podcaster, listener, tour. But I listen to a lot of XM or whatever's like downloaded in my Apple Music. Yeah,
you before the show you were telling me that I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know you. But the one thing that's interesting about this conversation, you have the interpersonal skills that can make someone feel comfortable like they know. I don't know you. I don't know. I do not know Honey B. But you can make a conversation really comfortable in a way, and that probably contributes to your skill set in regard to why you've been successful.
I think so, and I also think I'm just a natural empath. So I don't like to think I'm something that I'm not. So I feel like I can talk to anybody, and I like talking to people and digging deeper and figuring out why do you think that, that way, or what's going on with you. So I like to dive a little deeper. So.
Yeah, I didn't do no deep. We jokingly, we scheduled Honey B like 7-8 times, and she canceled.
You know what?
She canceled. No, I'm joking. So like I had prepared before. better?
That's the Virgo in me. We have to overthink everything and then make a decision.
So what contributed to you agreeing to come on the show? Because you don't do a lot of interviews. A lot of people, is it fair to say a lot of people don't know you?
Absolutely.
So what contributed to you making the decision to say, hey, I'm going to do this interview? Because you have a story that people need to know, and we're happy to help share that.
I feel like you said, we were supposed to do this a while back, so I wanted to keep my word, even if it meant, not that time, but I felt like I kind of owed that to you because I know we wanted to do it, so I wanted to make it happen, and here we are.
I was joking, though.
No, I know.
I was joking. I mean,
I know we set it up, though, and so I was like, I want to get,
But I want a better answer, though. I want to know, you don't do a lot of interviews, period, generally, like
interviewing other people as
well? No, you interview. I mean, what I'm saying is that when I was doing my research, it wasn't easy for me to go out here and find information.
Right.
I couldn't dig. Other than Instagram.
That's it.
I couldn't go out here and find out.
No Facebook.
I couldn't find any skeletons. I couldn't find no dirt.
Right. Well, I mean, there's not much dirt, but I
mean, I don't mean dirt, but your pockets were, you ain't a lot of lint in your pockets either.
Empty. Yeah.
So I'm saying we're happy to have you on the show, but you don't do a lot of, you don't do any have you ever been on a podcast?
I'm not a social media girl, so you're not going to see my every move on social media. You're not going to know probably 90% of the things I do in my daily life. I'll show, if I'm at the radio station every 3 months or something. And mind you, I'm there on a weekly basis.
Matt, man, listen, we're not
Matt is like, we need you to post. And I'm just like, I'm not. Or even to even take it further, my social media pages are private, and they've even asked me to have another social media page. It's not about that. I'm just naturally a private person.
Okay.
I don't have anything to hide. I don't want you to not know anything about me. I just am not a fan of all eyes on me. Despite what I do, I like to go home, live in my bubble, take care of my kid, go to bed, wake up, repeat. I don't need attention. I don't like all that.
You. That's a good segue for a couple of things.
Yeah.
There's so many places I want to go though, but that's a good segue.
Let's go. Where we going? Cheers.
Well, before we cheers. I'm drinking Deer Park water.
Yes, I'm drinking red wine. Not gonna lie.
They're not sponsoring us today, so I poured the water out, and I poured in some Charles City.
Hey now.
Some Charles City water. You can imagine what that might be.
Oh Lord.
Let's kind of. I want to go in a couple places.
Sure.
I want to go through the journey. Before we go through the journey, though. Okay. I asked her before to listen, fellas, listen. When I don't interview a lot of women. That's one of the things.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the things I get negative feedback on.
Oh Lord.
They don't feel like I'm not showing a good balance.
Okay. So we gotta get more women on the podcast.
I need to do better. I do. But fellas, before we start, okay? I've seen her man in the gym. He's like a bodybuilder for real, okay?
Oh, Lord.
So the DM is closed. We are not having any in that mess. But the question I have for you, though, okay, when you live such a public life in radio, does that create challenges when it comes to relationships? And I'm curious of that. I'm asking, listen, I'm trying to be a big bee, not a honey bee. I don't want to be a bumblebee. I'm trying to be a bumblebee. Okay.
What is that big bee?
No, I got a background in communications. I did radio and campus sports broadcasting.
Okay.
And stuff but I'm not a honey bee.
Right.
Okay. But I also don't think that I'm just a podcaster because I think that I do my research. I pride myself on asking hard questions, and I try to not be biased. I try to ask questions on behalf of what I think people want to know.
Right.
And I think people want to know,
important.
This ain't a personal question. I think that when you live a public life and you're in a relationship, that has challenges. I know I don't have those challenges, but my life is public in my personal and professional life.
Right.
So I'm curious, when you have a job like you've been in the radio for so long.
Right.
More people know you than you know.
Absolutely.
What does that create challenges? And because that's from the perspective of others who on the outside look in. You may be able to give some feedback that can help other relationships know how to navigate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly younger folks.
Yeah. So for me, since I've been in radio, honestly, I've dated people that kind of do equivalent things to radio. So the couple of relationships I've had, 9 times out of 10, they had something to do with the radio, whether it's a personality, an artist, producer, and it's a natural, natural gravitation. Outside of that, the guys that I've dated that aren't in that field know me as a person. So to be on the radio is just a job. And I think the clear part about that is making anyone feel comfortable with who you are as a person. So if you know my characteristics, if you know what I bring to the table outside of radio, if you know the core values that I, really stand on, radio is it's another job, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't dated anyone that doesn't understand it or feels threatened, well, at least to my knowledge, sometimes guys hide their insecurities differently. Yeah. But I'm always open about what I do. So prime example, like if I have to do a club hosting or a concert hosting, 9 times out of 10, whoever I'm dating, my spouse, my boyfriend, whatever at the time, they're with me. They're supporting, they're playing bodyguard, they're, around, whatever the case is. So it's never been an issue for me, honestly.
Yeah. This brother is diesel, guys. I'm letting you know. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
When I was doing my homework, though, I recognized that I was visually familiar with him.
For sure.
And I'm sure everybody in the gym is too, because you can't miss him.
Yeah.
You outside tomorrow night?
Yes, tomorrow.
Stadium.
I'm at Stadium.
What's bringing you? I don't see you coming outside a lot.
Listen,
like that. What's going on?
On top of being private, I like to be at home. So I don't like to. Again, I'm a mom, so I like those moments with my son. Granted, at the club times, obviously he's asleep, but that comes with me making sure I have a sitter, making sure he's comfortable, making sure. Hell, I want to leave my house when the temperatures drop and it is 40 degrees outside. Yeah. But, when certain promoters that I've known for a long time really ask me to be a part of something, it's about the relationships I've built. Obviously, there's money involved. There's the financial aspect of it. And every now and then I feel like it's necessary just to, hey, I'm still here. Real quick, like sprinkle out a little bit of Honey B and then, all right, I'm back in the house.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. And I respect that. I feel I'm talking to a grown woman here.
For sure.
I talk to a lot of people,
right.
But I clearly I'm talking to a grown woman who prioritizes her children, her child, and you family oriented.
For sure.
It's very apparent.
Yeah.
But I think that you could be outside. I mean, I'm not outside a lot.
Right.
I'm not. I mean, let me make sure I'm really clear with that.
Same.
But as a critic.
Yeah.
I think that you have an audience that would love to see you do more of what you're going to do tomorrow night. Yeah. And you see how she ended. Absolutely.
No, I know.
You see how she did that, though? That's the put together.
Aware.
That's the put together I'm talking about, though. Like, that's that media training. As a radio
personality, we know what to say.
Absolutely.
No, but I would agree with you. The thing is, like, I know myself. I stand very confident on myself. I know my capabilities, my talent, all of those things, but I still have a choice.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part of it.
You sound like Lonnie right now.
Do I?
Yeah.
But that's the beautiful part of doing this for so long is because, rewind to when I lived in Atlanta, I didn't have a choice. Being in the club every night, that paid my bills. The rent was due on the 1st. Honey had to be in the club from Monday to Sunday. The Honey now is, let me get back to you. Let me see if that makes sense for my mood. Let me see if that's going to interrupt my peace. Let me see if my mental health is good this week. Let me see if, like I said, if I have a babysitter, let me see if my son's feeling well. Let me see if the money makes sense for me to leave my comfortable bed to go to a club with all these humans.
Yeah, all that COVID.
It's all that COVID, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that I take into account. And then I'm like, okay, I can do this for a couple of hours. The old Honey would have been in the club from doors opening to doors closing. You got a good hour of my time, if that, and then I'm going back home.
Gotcha.
So now it's about having options, and I'm blessed to be in that position, but that's just really what it is.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because Honey's got a lot of bags. She got some other bags she's getting, but we're going to talk about that. Wow, Honey, I did not know this conversation was going to... This is flowing.
Is it flowing?
Yeah, this is flowing.
Okay.
This is enjoyable. This is good. I think this is good. I think this is good. This is...
It feels comfortable.
I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And I don't know you, but but we're getting a lot here.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot here. And I think what I'm seeing in this, listen, I've talked to
a lot of interviews.
I've talked to a lot of folks,
Yeah.
but I think that you're bringing something to this conversation from a radio personality standpoint and from a grown woman standpoint, from an adult standpoint.
Right.
It's a little more polished.
Okay.
Than what we, it's a little bit more polished. I think that it's, I'm gonna be careful with my words, but I mean, because I'm not trying to discredit the radio piece.
Right.
But there's just so much more to what we're hearing here than the radio piece. And I think that if they go into it, like, I don't want to go there yet though. Before we go there, let's go to Atlanta.
Okay.
Because when you was in Atlanta, we were in Atlanta too.
Okay.
And we heard you, we saw you, big chicken. All we was out there.
He was outside. That's when I was really outside.
We was out there.
Yeah.
We was out there. So let's talk about that experience. Did you ever go? Are you familiar? So it was on. I think it's on Piedmont. You familiar with Murder Kroger?
Who?
It's a Kroger on Piedmont.
It's called Murder Kroger?
It's called Murder Kroger.
Oh, I know the Kroger. I didn't know it was called Murder Kroger.
You know the spot across the street? It's like a little club.
Yeah.
Kind of like underground.
Oh, and all that crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
Is that why? Okay.
I don't know. What's that spot? You know the name of the spot?
I don't remember.
Well, let's just talk about your Atlanta experience. Talk about that.
So me moving to Atlanta, honestly, was because I got fired from Power.
Whoa. Back up. We can't. We gotta rewind. We gotta rewind. Great, we gotta do that. We can't go to Atlanta yet.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the bad boy breakup. Before we have to talk about that because we talked to Nat about it. Like one of the worst decisions iPower ever made. You guys were the Breakfast Club before the Breakfast Club.
We were.
We have to have that conversation.
We were.
A year ago today, we released the Big Nat interview. Well, Big Nat was the first interview of 22. You're the first interview of 23.
I love it.
And we talked about that.
Yeah.
The dumbest decision I think I've ever seen.
That really rocked my world.
I bet it did. It rocked the city.
I cried like a baby. I'll never forget me and A+ being so sad and like, what the fuck did we do?
That was the dumbest decision.
It was a hard moment to navigate from there. That was hard. That was really challenging, especially being so young, being so new into radio, and we knew they had this meeting the next morning, and they went into the meeting and got fired. And
we got to talk about it.
A+ and I got wind of it, and I was mad. I was a rebel. A+ was more level-headed. Probably is why he's doing what he's doing now, and like so far in the game. He was level-headed. I was a rebel.
I mean, but you're doing great things too. And
I'm just saying in a sense of like, I'm happy with what I'm doing, of course. And it speaks volumes because in that moment, I was so loyal to the bad boy, what we have built, that them getting fired, I was like, this shit is whack now. And that was my whole attitude at Power after they left. And everybody felt it. Anyone that came in that was new, I didn't like you because you weren't bad boy.
So you didn't get fired?
No, originally, no.
Okay.
And that was another hard part because it's like you kind of feel like you're being disloyal to people that brought you in the game. But of course, they're older than me and they're mentors to me. So they're like, they're like, stay and go hard and kill it. And I'm just like, y'all aren't here. Like, what is happening?
So I guess a turn to the story, which can make this good content, is that you had to work with Sean Anthony, Big Keith, TT Torres.
Sure.
What was that transition like for you?
It was challenging.
Yeah?
I was young, I think 19, 20 at the time. So to me, I'm looking like, and none of them are from here, at the time. So I'm looking at like, y'all fired the hometowners for these people? You know what I'm saying? Obviously now I respect and love them and great, love and adoration. But at the time, being a young teenager, I'm just looking like, who are y'all?
Is it, let me see. So like, what did you learn from the experience?
I don't know.
Yeah?
When I look back, I look at myself as a kid in a transitional career moment.
Yeah.
Where if I probably would have shucked and jived a little bit more and kissed ass, I probably, know.
Who's the PD then?
Uzi. Yeah, Uzi D. He's in North Carolina now, I think.
Yeah.
But shout out to Uzi. He fired me, but we still we're still cool.
Yeah.
No issues.
Did you, TT's doing major, she's correct, speaks for herself. Did y'all have a relationship that has evolved or?
We had a good working relationship, on and off. Again, me being young, her being a little older, it was one of those like, I don't really know you, you don't know me. I think we did like before podcast was a thing, her, myself, and A+. I had a connection and still do with Nicki Minaj when Nicki had first come out. So I reached out to Nicki and I got her to do this interview with us. And so we had, good moments on radio where we could come together and interview major artists like that.
Yeah.
Or whenever she was out of town, I would cover for her.
Yeah.
I think because she was up and coming and I was still new and still trying to figure this out, we kind of clashed a little bit, to be honest. But in hindsight, I don't regret any of it. But There's no issues.
Do you miss? I guess that 2-part question.
Yeah.
Do you have a new goal? Or is there a current goal for you in radio?
Absolutely not. No, honestly. And I say that to say, me being on radio still, even on 106.5 The Beat, even on Power at this moment, I didn't go like seeking these jobs. I may have like, you know, put myself out there or like, hey, I'm still interested or I'm still around, I'm still local. But I never like kept banging on someone's door to get in the building. It all kind of came to me. So I say all that to say, because I have other endeavors, first and foremost, I'm a mom. Secondly, outside of that, I have another bit, businesses that I operate that I'm very passionate about. But with radio, it's so fickle. And I learned a long time ago that I don't want to chase anything, including a job. So with radio, we are always, in that field. We're chasing the next opportunity. We're chasing the next big gig. We're chasing the next city. I don't have time for that.
so you just take it for what it is.
That is. It's my creative outlet from what I do on a day-to-day. So whether it's from my son or whether it's from my, my full-time job, it's kind of my creative outlet. It's also something, it's one of those things like when you learn to ride a bike as a kid, you can hop on that bike at 40 and still figure it out. So for me, I started radio when I was a teenager. Now that I'm a 35-year-old grown woman, it's one of those things where I feel like it's going to always be a part of me. Even with my son coming to the station with me as much as he does, his father's in radio. So at some point, like, it's going to keep evolving. It's one of those things that it's just stuck, you know?
Yeah.
So now it's just
Clearly.
like, however I can help, whether it's mentoring the new girls, whether it's adding my voice to the radio stations, whatever it is.
But when someone says, honey, but you are bigger than this. You can do more. You don't care.
Sure.
You don't want to be a PD.
Absolutely not.
You would accept a PD role.
I don't like to say never or anything like that, but when I look at the PDs and what they go through,
I got
it doesn't make sense for me and where I am in my life. I don't want to work hard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I want what do the young girls say now? Soft life era. Like I
haven't heard that.
You haven't? Okay.
I ain't around no young girls. Thank God.
I'm just saying, like,
but
I don't want to work hard. And I don't.
What is it called?
Soft life.
Have y'all heard that? Soft life era?
Okay, y'all gotta step your social media memes up.
Dang, soft life.
But it's more so like you said in the beginning of the podcast, like Black women are taking over.
Yeah.
We've had to play the independent role. Me as a single mom had to play the single mom role, had to play the hustler role. Yes, we can do it, but we're at the point of I don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that for radio, I don't have to send demos out to sound, to show you I sound good. I don't have to be in the club to show you I can host. I don't have to be on the radio every day to know that my voice is very prominent in probably top 5, if we're not lying.
Top five.
But it's a choice. And so now I'm having fun with the choice because I look back over the past 20 years I've been doing radio almost. It wasn't always a choice. It was you need this to stay relevant. You want this. You got to go to the next city. You got to figure out the next hustle. You got to get breadcrumbs and still pretend that you're, something bigger than you really are getting paid for right now. So now it's like coasting. It's coasting. It's a choice.
Gotcha.
And now I feel like the respect and something I never even looked for and care about. But now it's like when I do, an interview like this, or I talk to other prominent radio personalities and we can have similar conversations. Like I talked to a Big Nat and I'm like, yo, we the OGs. Yeah. It's crazy to say, but it's the fact. Or the newer girls that come in are like, no, you're the OG. And I'm like, oh shit, I am.
You are though. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you how good you are. Let me tell you how good you are. Well, this is not an example of how good you are because I ain't.
Oh Lord.
But it's like I don't have notes.
Right.
I'm not. This is all off, and you hit me with it's like if I threw you a pitch.
Yeah.
And then you come back with something like that. This is where you need notes.
Yeah.
Because, I can go in another place.
Right.
But you're throwing me. You're giving us some good stuff here.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't ready for that.
Oh. Okay. We're here.
She just oop oop, I'm the shit. No, this is good. This is good.
It's good. It's better than you thought, okay.
What you drinking? I didn't say it was better than I thought. I didn't say that.
A little red wine, that's all. A little sweet red wine.
I didn't say it was better than I thought, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Truthfully, yeah, it is.
I like good conversations.
It is.
Diving a little deeper.
Yeah, it is, and that's really what my show's about. Like, I want to get kind of past the surface level of who people appear to be. You know, I think that's where my behavioral, mental health background psychologically comes in. It's like, that's what my show's about. My show is about like identifying people who are change makers, and you're a change maker. You're a person who's impacted change, who's been an influencer, who has, you know, came in the game and sustained longevity. And because of that, it's been influential on so many other people who have listened to you, been mentored by you, witnessed you, and decided to say, hey, maybe I want to be in radio.
Try it out, yeah.
And even outside of those folks, maybe someone like me, for example, who I'm not in radio, but finds you intriguing enough to say, hey, what is her story?
Right.
Like, what is the conversation like?
Yeah.
Because this is what we don't get in radio.
That's true.
Which is why, like, I've had radio, I can't say I've had radio aspirations because I've never tried.
Right.
But I'm intrigued by radio.
Right.
Which was clearly an inspiration for why I wanted to do a podcast.
Right.
Can't knock that. I just don't want to sit and talk about what someone else tells me to talk about.
Exactly.
But I think that if someone gave me a microphone on radio and I had like talk radio, I think I'd do what I'm doing right now.
Right.
And I would just have a bigger platform for someone to help me
push it a little further. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Do you consider this conversation a good conversation? Because you don't do podcasts.
Yeah, I don't though, but I like conversations where we can talk about things deeper. Like you said, like you don't know me, so getting to know me, having those questions answered that are, you know, digging a little deeper. So absolutely.
This is good.
Absolutely.
Atlanta, we're gonna hit this quick because we don't want to stay in Atlanta too long.
Okay.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Atlanta
then is not the Atlanta now.
What's that mean?
It's not. When I was out in Atlanta, I moved out to Atlanta, honestly. Like I said, I got fired from Power. I was working a full-time job. I was a supervisor at T-Mobile. I was a supervisor at Starbucks at the same time. And I got fired from here. Now, I was still hosting clubs, but I was like, this is boring. Like, I'm 21. I need more. And at that time, that was Travis Porter was out, Waka Flocka, Gucci Mane. It was the era of just, like, poppin' music. And it felt good coming through the airwaves. And I was like, I need to physically see what this feels like. And literally went out to Atlanta. I was flying to Atlanta once a month.
Oh, you wasn't living in Atlanta?
Not at the time.
Okay.
I lived there afterwards, but I was visiting like once a month because I wanted to feel it out, like see like who I could network with. And finally, I felt like I networked, you know, with enough people. Shout out to DJ Holiday, who did Nicki Minaj's first mixtape. Shout out to Beehive Radio, Kenny Burns, Mike Johnson, everybody who gave me like my first opportunity. Reggie Rouse, who's over V103 out there. But I moved out there, literally packed up my car, had 2 suitcases and $2,000. Moved out there, met this girl on Twitter who's now my best friend, Simone. Met her on Twitter.
Simone, shout out Simone.
Moved out there, ended up sharing a bed with her. Like not a house, not a crib. It was her own space, but she only had enough for me to share a bed with her. And from there, grinded it out. I'm talking about waited tables, had never been a waitress in my life. So I'm going from Richmond, where everybody knows me, to Atlanta, where it's like, who are you? But I had to make it happen. And so I did internet radio, Beehive FM with Kenny Burns, who's like phenomenal.
Yeah, everyone knows. Kenny Burns, the GOAT.
Yeah, so Kenny, we had radio shows on Beehive FM. And we weren't getting paid for it, but everybody just had this creative passion. Shout out to Coach K. I think he took over Beehive FM at some point. But we all had this creative passion. And from there, I was hosting clubs. So I would walk into a club. And at the time, there were no women or no young women at the time hosting clubs out there. I'd be like, let me get the mic real quick, or let me, you know, walk up to the DJ booth, and I'd start hosting, and the club promoters would be like, wow, like she's good. So they would pay me like $100, $200, whatever, just, you know, pennies to come in. But that's how I got my name out there. So from there, Reggie Rouse, who's over V103 in Atlanta, reached out to me and said, hey, we've heard about you. Like, you want to come in and work? And so I started doing overnights. Then I produced the Frank and Wanda morning show, Frank Ski. Then I produced Greg Street's radio show. And from there, just had a name for myself, like, and really went crazy out in Atlanta, took over Atlanta.
We proud of you, honey, because you're one of we watched you. You know, you're one of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what we saw. Like, yo, like, you know, like, it's always good to see someone like leave the city. I'm not from here. I'm from Charlotte, but I mean, it's home now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And you see someone leave and come back, and I think that's part of what makes your whole story.
Yeah.
Better. I'm not gonna say better. It's just like more. It's authentic though. It's real.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
You're from here, and you've shown the ability to go elsewhere, be successful, grind, build your thing, come back here. And a lot of people don't know that you have 7. I don't know if a lot of people know or not. I don't think a lot of people know.
Probably not.
A lot of people know you because they hear on your radio.
Right.
But you have 7, correct? 7 different offices, practices where you were waxing. I don't know how to say this appropriately. You know, Brazilian stuff. I don't know.
Brazilian waxing.
I don't know how to say it because, like, I try. That's why I don't have any women.
Right, on the podcast.
No, that's why I try to not put myself in these positions where I'm
say
talking.
awkward things.
Yeah. So, can you describe it better than me?
Absolutely. So, I have a passion for waxing, which is hair removal.
Hold on. Slow down. It's too fast.
What do you mean?
Talk about the passion for waxing. Like, you don't like hair.
Yeah. So, no. Okay. So rewind. So when I left Atlanta, I got let go from V103. They were just making some changes. So all of the part-timers got let go. So I was still hosting all these clubs. And I think I was like 24.
More money in the club though, right?
It was so much money. Like Atlanta, like they're paying $500 for the host or something like that. And I'm hosting at least
every
4.
night. So we in her bag. So she getting $3,500 a week just like hosting.
That's literally all I was doing to pay my bills is hosting. And I have by this time, fast forward.
And you might be hosting more than one thing a day.
Yeah, literally.
Things.
I'm going through different, avenues, doing different things. So I was actually, making enough money to pay my bills and just living. But fulfilling wise, growing as a,
Damn, hold on, man. Shit. Yeah, we in her pocket. So if she making 500,
you know what?
If she doing 500 and she doing multiple episodes, she might get 250 at this one, just a walk. Damn, you was getting bread out there. Though.
Yeah, I had to have whole security and everything. It was like real. It was real, but it was fun. It was such a good time. But
them younger
after
days.
I did
younger
that,
days, right?
Younger days.
Them days over, right?
Over.
But she'll be a stadium tomorrow night, though.
Yeah, I'll still be outside.
You need security? You need security?
Look,
you don't need security. Shit.
Look, shut up. Look, I got built-in security. But when I left Atlanta and I moved, hold on. What were we talking about? What's the question? Oh, European Wax. Okay.
Yeah.
So I left and I moved to...
What's the name of it?
European Wax.
European Wax.
So it's a franchise. We have over 900 locations nationwide, but it's a franchise. So it's like, I always tell people it's like the Starbucks of waxing. Like, you can go to any city, any avenue and figure out a Starbucks. It's the same thing with European Wax. So when I moved up to New York, funny story, the only reason I moved up to New York is because I got a call from the founder of the Breakfast Club, G Spin. So he put the Breakfast Club together. When the Breakfast Club was just being put together, he reached out to me. He said, hey, we're trying to create this like online digital content. I want to meet you. I want you to come up here. I got a job for you kind of thing. He wanted me to be the person online to give a recap of the Breakfast Club when they first started. Okay. And I was like, oh shit, like this is dope. And it's one of those things in radio, like if you meet someone, it gets prolonged. It's like, okay, we met, we talked about it. It didn't happen. So fast forward, I ended up dating somebody who worked at Power 105.1, my son's father at the time. And I kind of forfeited my opportunity because I chose like love over job type dumb shit, right? So anyway.
Would you have dinner with Jay-Z or would you take $500,000?
Yeah, literally, right? One of those kind of situations. Right. So from there though, anyways, I ended up getting pregnant. And as I'm pregnant, I'm like, okay, this radio shit is kind of like in my rear view at this moment. I had auditioned for Angie Martinez's job. She had left, she was leaving Hot 97. They called me to come up there to audition. So I auditioned for it, didn't get the opportunity. Cool. I found out I was pregnant in that same moment. So I was like, you know what? I need to figure out something else I'm passionate about. Like, yes, the radio is great, but what else do you love? So that was aesthetics, which is waxing and all of that fun stuff. So I went to school for aesthetics in New Jersey as I'm living there. So as I'm going to school, I'm pregnant with my son, and that became my passion. When things didn't work out for me in New Jersey and I decided to come back to Virginia, that's when I helped open these European Wax Centers. So the owner and I, we partnered together and we opened up 3 locations here. We opened up 4 locations in Washington. We're opening 2 more this year. And I open them all, I oversee them all, and I'm the CEO of all of them.
She is a boss.
Yes.
Can you do something with my head? I mean, because I don't.
We don't wax the top of head.
No.
But we do wax anything from head to toe, male and women. I highly encourage anybody who wants to, snatch the hair off.
All right, this is where I gotta stop. All right, hold on. Hey, how am I looking up? Am I okay all the time? Am I good?
Yeah, we have about 50 minutes.
15?
50.
50? All right, we're gonna wrap this up. This is where I gotta stop.
Oh Lord.
Well, I'm not a. This is all. My wife. I'm not good at it.
No, don't mess with your face.
This is new.
Oh, that's new.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
let me say, no, I'm not. I mean, I did it. This is like 2-3 weeks. It took 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm done now. I don't do this. Like, this is brand new.
Yeah.
You like it? This is
Yes.
Nah, I'm not.
You're gonna shave it off?
If you saw, I don't usually. I mean, I've had it. I did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I cut it off.
But I think that's like the perfect amount.
But it was the first time I ever did it though.
But that's the perfect amount.
But it itches.
It itches.
I mean, it's just not me. My wife, she
likes it?
feels like, she thinks I look like a pedophile without it.
Yeah, I don't like men without facial hair.
So I don't, So that's where I gotta stop.
But it is a preference, you know what I'm saying?
No, most women, I mean, they like it. I don't know, but for my business work and the things I do,
yeah,
we're gonna just stop. I can't do it. But I don't like this. I tried it.
it's itching.
It just ain't me.
For
I've never
real?
had facial hair, but I did it. Now, if you've seen pictures or whatever,
right.
Yeah, for like 2 years, I didn't shave.
Right.
And those 2 years I didn't shave at all.
Right.
I just did this.
Yeah.
It didn't grow. That's the point. It stopped
Right.
growing. So it's like, what's the point? If I'm gonna grow facial hair, I want to be like Rick Ross.
Oh my God, no, that's too much.
That's too much?
Too much. Just keep it like subtle. That's good, like subtle. No, but like men come in and get like their pubes waxed. Like they do all that.
That's why I gotta stop this conversation because.
Why? That's like I talk about it every day.
I
train them on it.
Listen, I don't do hair at all.
Yeah.
So that's where I gotta
stop. There's other
stop.
hair removal methods, obviously.
So
I talk about
someone
that
else gotta do it for you though. Who does it?
Now the question you should have asked is how does your man feel about you demonstrating how to wax a penis every day? That's different.
Whoa.
That's different.
How does your man feel about that? Let's talk about that.
No, but he gets what I do as well.
So he accepts it. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously.
it comes with the job. I don't.
You're like a gynecologist for men, huh?
Literally.
What do they call it?
But
Gynecologist?
I don't do the waxing. I just show them how to.
How did you learn?
Videos, training.
No, we gotta stop this right here. We gotta stop this right here.
Ridiculous.
We have to. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to because I have questions that I don't want to ask.
Can't ask, right?
I don't want to ask. There's a lot. Listen,
but
Honey B,
it's
we're gonna close in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
we're gonna
for
rapid
sure.
fire this thing out. My goodness, though. I'm interested. Can I get a business card?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to my
one.
wife. My wife might want to
Absolutely.
come through, get a Brazilian.
Yeah,
and if she gives me
should.
permission to come,
Yes.
maybe I just might come too.
Yeah, but I train the girls on how to do it. I don't do them. Like
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I'm based, and then I work in DC too, so I'm in and out of Richmond.
the bread's good, though, isn't it?
Amazing. Radio could never.
They can afford you.
They can't. That's why it's fun. Like it's literally like it's play money.
Yeah,
It's fun money.
Yeah, that's part of why I got into podcasting now too. It's
Yeah,
like
it's fun.
therapeutic to have conversations.
Yes.
It's fun to have conversations that are fun conversations for me versus like
Right.
talking about trauma
Right.
all the time.
Right.
You know? That's the big part. So
For me, it's like something I love, and then I'm working with my peers of like. I get to see RJ's family anyway, like
Yeah.
like blood family.
yeah,
so that's
we love
my
RJ.
family.
We love RJ.
So working with peers that I love and respect on a regular, it's always fun when we get together. So it's not like a job. It's like
Yeah.
we're
And RJ
we're getting paid to talk.
when we talked to RJ, he loved you.
I love RJ.
He
I've known
loves
RJ
you.
since.
Why does RJ look so young? You must be waxing him.
No, RJ's look. And
waxing his face?
The secret is like nobody knows how old RJ is, but
Yeah, how old is RJ? He
I
gotta
have
be.
no idea.
He's gotta, I mean, because when I was young, he was older.
yeah, RJ. I've known RJ since I was a kid.
RJ gotta be like 55.
His son is my third cousin. His child's mother is my mom's first cousin, so she's my second cousin.
Damn, family.
Yeah,
for
so
real.
literally, like he used to come to the cookouts when I was a kid. Like he was, yeah. His only son is my cousin.
That's
so he's
crazy.
literally family.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do a quick 7 questions before we
Sure.
wrap up. But this was fun.
Yeah.
Honey. This was funny. This
It
was,
flowed.
This was better. It was better than I thought. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't give anyone any. I couldn't like find anything. So this was
I live a
great
very
conversation.
cookie cutter, straightforward life. Like I mean.
But you out here training people how to wax penises, though.
Yeah.
I had to say it for the camera.
Literally.
It's good.
Literally.
Like, cookie cutter wise.
But make sure you pull the penis to the left. Like, no, it gets very real.
This was so fun.
It
though.
gets very real.
This was
in
fun.
the
though.
wax
I
room.
really, this was a great conversation. I enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, me
I really
too.
did,
Me
genuinely.
too. And I feel like we could have kept going for like there's
No,
so
we
many,
can. We can.
There's so much. He would have so much to like chop up.
No, let's do this. So this is the thing. We can, and I want to.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have you back.
Okay.
Like, because maybe I have this conversation with you off camera.
Sure.
I'm never come to it. Because, like, any interest in podcasting? Because we're trying to expand it.
Yeah.
We're trying to do something different here. I don't know if I had this conversation. We're trying to do some other things here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Randy Wilson podcast is always going to do these interviews, but like
Right.
we're trying to work on like a different type of staple.
Right.
And we need a female person, and
Yeah.
you'd be the perfect person
I
for
would
a
love
lot
to.
of reasons.
Yeah.
It's not just entertainment, but
Right.
like my wife would respect you.
Right.
You know, like I could do something with you, and my wife would be she's a grown woman.
Right.
So that's the
absolutely.
thing about it that
Yeah.
like you need to get in this room. You need to come
Yeah.
over here with us.
You know, Lonnie and I talked about it. Maybe it was pre-pandemic. Or
I think that's the
something like that.
conversation. You need to come over here with
Yeah,
us.
and
do
that's when
something.
I came here and he showed me around or whatever. He was like, I want you to do something here. And I'm just like, well, let me, like, what does that look like? For me, it's always like, what does that look like?
Well,
I'm
this is the
down
thing about it
here.
with us. It can look. We do all the work.
Right.
So all you gotta do is show up.
Right.
Because you're busy. You got a lot of things going on.
Right.
Just show up. Just
I'm
come around.
down.
Just come around more.
Yeah.
So we can talk about, how you wax the finger. And,
Right.
you know.
right. Facts.
All right, 7 questions, real fast.
Okay.
No thought. I'm not thinking.
Oh,
Okay.
shit, you're just gonna throw them out there?
How we? I'm good. I got.
Oh my
I'm not.
God.
I'm not thinking.
No, it's fine. Ask whatever
I
you want.
should think. I need to
This is
think,
dope in
though.
the background. Oh wow, that's dope.
Yeah, we're just doing different
Oh, look
things.
at Young Money. We went to Norfolk State together.
Oh, you know Young?
Of course, we went to Norfolk State together.
Woo, Lord. Well, let's throw
Before
him in
he
the
was
rap.
a rapper.
Yeah, let's throw him in there.
We went to Norfolk State
How
together.
well do you know Young?
Not that well. We just went to. He was maybe a year or two older than me.
That was like episode
We went to Norfolk State together in 2005.
7, maybe. Or
Really?
13.
Okay, that makes
13.
sense.
But Jan is I really rock with Jan.
He's so intellectual.
Yeah, he's an interesting conversation.
He is.
He's a challenging conversation
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
He is.
A lot of people don't know he got an interesting story. His father's the mayor of Norfolk,
I had no idea.
Kenny Alexander.
I know he was a little privileged. Yeah.
But his daddy didn't have any involvement with him as a young kid. I mean, like it was a different.
Talking
it's a
to him
story.
is very. I remember our conversations just being back in Norfolk. He was always
He's
somebody that
he's
was a
super
fan.
intelligent though, and
Yes.
and getting the bag. Like
Is
his real estate game is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Like
Crazy.
he got more money than more.
Like rappers.
Yeah.
He's super intelligent,
Super.
intellectual.
All right, Honey B.
7 questions.
This ain't even a question. What's your real name?
Brittany.
You a Brittany?
You want Brittany? I wanted him. I tell my mom all the time. That's the best you could do. That's the best you could do in the 80s. Another one of them.
Is a Brittany?
Yeah, I'm a
Is a Brittany like a Karen for black women?
No, like what?
Oh,
And then
that's
even
kind
if-
of. I mean, I don't know.
it's
That's
just
my
the
thought.
most- But it's funny, like if you meet another Brittany, you're like, how do you spell it? Like it's a certain way you gotta spell it.
So I recognize that because I know a white Brittany though. It's Britny.
Yeah, that's cute.
Is that a thing now?
It's a Brittany. Yeah, that's.
I didn't ever think. I was looking at her like
if it's
because
a
her mama's on drugs and stuff. So I was wondering like,
I'm
dang, is that just
done.
you or
No, if it's an A and Y, that's Brittany.
no Britny?
Yeah, I can
That's a
respect
thing.
it. Yeah,
I didn't know
absolutely.
that.
That's wait, what?
Britny.
Oh no, that's different.
Yeah, it's
She
drugs.
left out the
It's-
E.
it's drugs.
Yeah, absolutely
It's
not.
drugs.
It was the drugs. Yeah, absolutely not.
All right, 7 questions. Childhood crush.
Amarion.
Celebrity.
Amarion.
Of course.
I was obsessed with
So when
these
you met
names.
him, for the first time.
I never met Amarion.
Never met Amarion?
I never met Amarion.
Not with all.
I'm okay with
surprised.
that.
You're happy with that? I'm sure.
No, like I'm fine. Like I never cared to meet him. I know he's super short, so it never would have gave. But
I thought when they came to Richmond. I thought you loved
they came to Richmond back in the day, and I think I like chased their tour bus.
I was
around or
involved with
something.
that. I was
That's
involved with that.
crazy.
Yeah, I was involved with that tour. I remember Levi, the promoter. I know all about
For
that.
real?
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I never met Amarion, but back in the day when B2K was like the guys, I was in love. Yeah,
All right. Chicken or fish?
fish for sure, salmon
Damn, she knew. Okay.
to be specific.
All right.
Yeah.
You very detail oriented. You like sports?
I do basketball,
What's your team?
Lakers.
Yo, we good.
Yeah.
You and I good.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I gotta be home at 10:30. The game comes on.
We good. I just left the Hornet game with the Lakers. Yes. We
LeBron turned 38 and has been killing it. Okay, he scored 37 on his 38th birthday.
Yeah, he did. 47.
47.
Yeah.
Was it 47?
47. And then he had 43. I was at that game.
And they just played the Raptors and killed it again.
Yeah, we season ticket holders with the Hornets, so we love LeBron. I'm a Laker fan first though.
Me too. I like LeBron, happy that but I'm a Lakers fan. Like I grew up dad, brother, Lakers fan, so I had no choice.
Yeah, that's question number 3. When it comes to like, do you pay attention to city politics, county politics? No,
not at all.
No,
Mm-mm.
Zero.
Not gonna lie.
All right. Do you pay attention to politics at all?
But it's time to vote for like the president.
Okay, cool.
And stuff.
That one counts as a question.
Yeah.
When it comes to a man,
we can talk about that.
chest or ass?
Chest or ass?
Chest or ass? Yeah,
I'm going with chest. I need something to lay on, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Can you do flat ass, man? If you got a big chest?
I need a chest before an ass, but yeah, chest for sure.
Can he have a flat ass though? If his chest, if his chest like
no, you like flat ass on nobody. I don't even like females with flat asses, like. And I'm not into women, but I'm just saying, like, you gotta have a little.
All right.
Some got a
you.
curve.
All right,
like
I got you.
Yeah.
Number 5. Can you show love to like? Is there someone that you see though? Because you the young OG.
Yeah.
Pay homage and respect. If there's one person right now that you can shout out that's coming up in the game, in any aspect, I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's radio, I don't care if it's anything like professional business. One person that today, like, if you could cut a clip and say, hey, I want to highlight you. I want to pay homage to you because you mean something to me.
Like
and you
up
doing
and
your
coming
thing. It don't matter.
thing?
It don't matter what they're doing. It don't matter who they are. It could be your office manager, assistant. It can be your cousin. It could be your niece. It could be anybody. Just one person that you want to show respect to. Just like I want to say this because Randy might cut the clip, and I want to show respect to that one person. You so private, you can't think of one person.
No, I was trying to think what room, like if I want to go radio, personal, work. But I will say I really like Anissa. Anissa is our, and I'm sorry, Anissa, if I mess up your title. She is our, at Radio 1 at Power, promotions director. But she's a young girl, a young woman.
I don't know her, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, mid-20s. I don't know her exact age. Very God-fearing, very spiritual. Every time I see her or I speak to her, it's a very positive encounter.
Yeah.
And that speaks a lot about her character.
Yeah, and that speaks a lot about her because of you speaking on her.
Yeah.
That's the person you said, that's...
And like when I get off the elevator and I see her, she's just like, hey, beautiful, like, how's your day?
Yeah.
It's not like a, hey, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like a, how are you? How do you feel? Like, and I like that about her because I know she probably has her own challenges as a young Black woman in media taking over a dominant role.
Yeah.
But she's so sweet and she's so cute and she's beautiful. And so I hope she knows that she's valuable and she's loved, and I really like her.
Yo, shout out to Anissa. I don't know
like
her
her
personally, but I've seen her through the social media
I like
channels.
her. She's gonna go far. She's gonna go really far.
I believe it. I believe it because you said it, and we believe in you.
Yes.
All right, we got 2 more questions.
Yes.
What are you listening to on the radio? Like, what's in your? I don't know if you listen to CDs,
No.
but like, you know.
Randy, who is listening to CDs?
I'm old.
No, I got some vinyls at the crib.
I listen to vinyls too. I buy vinyl.
Yeah, me too.
I
I love it.
Intentionally.
Me too, same.
I got 2-part question. I got to
Okay.
ask 8 questions.
All right.
Do you have a local artist that you like?
I'm not too tapped into the local scene. Outside of when I did, I hosted a Rod Wave concert back over the summertime.
Okay.
And so the opening acts, a lot of them were newer artists or local artists.
Okay.
That I really like.
Okay.
I don't remember some of their names, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
so I don't have any names that I could really throw out there.
but
But
who
I
you keep
know
on
that
Spotify?
Richmond has a lot of
some
local
talent.
talent because
Some
RJ
talent.
plays them nonstop at 7 o'clock
Yeah, you
every
do.
day.
Shout out. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
But Spotify, or if we're talking about Spotify or just what I listen to on the regular, not gonna lie, Summer Walker, Division. Do you know Division?
I don't know if I know Division.
You gotta look up Division. Crazy About Division, Jagged Edge. I'm listening to
You still
R&B.
there? You still there?
I'm still there. I'm
So
still
nothing
listening.
new.
Some new. Like I like SZA. She just released the album SOS, so I like it. It's cute.
I saw her new post.
It's cute. And shout out to her. I think she has the longest standing for a woman, like #1 album on Apple Music. Right now, she broke like all the records. Beyonce, everybody.
I didn't know that.
So that's a good album. Yeah, I'm an R&B girl, so I'm still listening. I'm still playing Jaheim just in case I don't make it home tonight. So yeah, that's me. Anita Baker, she's about to go on tour. Anita Baker's
My brother's about to go to
tour.
that show. He about to go to Atlanta to go see.
On Valentine's Day, she's going to be in Atlanta.
Wow. I'm like, why are you going he's on it.
I'm obsessed with Anita Baker, so that's kind of my vibe. That's probably why I'm private as well, because I also feel like these younger people just, we're not on the same page. So I'm at the house, I'm sipping my red wine, I'm listening to Anita Baker, I'm listening to Boys to Men.
Oh, God. Was it you seen the young you seen the young boy,
who?
the young ones, the kids?
Oh.
They got kids. They got the group now. You know that?
Oh, Juan Moore.
Yeah. Did you check out them when they came through the city?
I didn't. I wasn't there, but some of my colleagues were there. But I wasn't. But I was following them like on their page and was seeing how dope they've been for a while.
I got one more question. Am I good? I ain't in trouble.
He's like,
I need management.
Right. Look, you put him to work with all this.
I need
stuff.
management. I need management. I didn't know I was gonna go.
No, literally.
Oh, man.
That's okay. That Deer Park water.
I started getting excited.
I'm just saying.
So this is my last question.
Sure.
And but we need you to come back though.
I want to come back.
I got more. I got more.
We have so much. I feel like I have so much I can still unpack and talk about.
And I can. This is the thing.
Yeah.
But this was a great hour though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to put this was a power hour. But you gotta come back though.
Yeah, I have to.
You have to. And we're gonna talk about it off camera. But
sure.
My last question is, if there's anyone it's a two-part question. If there's someone that you think that would be a great guest for the show, I'm curious who that might be. And as we close this conversation, did this conversation is it like concluded? Like, did it go the way you thought it might go? Better, worse? Because this is podcast,
Yeah.
you're radio.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
radio.
Right. So it's a little different.
It's a little different, and I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm really selfishly curious of the perspective because I respect what you do so much.
For sure.
I want to be good at what I do.
Right.
But it's not about being a podcaster at the end of the day. Like I was talking to my friends about the fact that like this is called a Randy Wilson podcast, but I'm different than y'all.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, and that's the thing. Like I'm not in competition with anybody. But I'm not trying to, but I do want to make sure that my conversation is different.
Right, absolutely.
So like, as we conclude this conversation, how do you conclude it? And if there's anyone that you would suggest to come on the show, I'm curious who that is because that's kind of how we build we start doing our homework and looking at those directions.
So I think for me, honestly, I can't think of anyone to come on here. Everyone that you've had on here are people that I've already looked up to. So like when you had Foot on here or Nat or 8. I think you had 8. No, you have 8+ on.
I haven't, but
you haven't had 8+ on.
But
here.
I need to.
Okay, so 8+ is like the mastermind.
And he engages and he follows stuff. So if you can help me out, let him know that we would love to have him.
Okay, so that's like the missing piece. I know you've had Foot on here.
We've had Foot.
So you've had the whole piece.
We've had everybody in the Bad Boy Crew. That's why I was like, yo.
8+ would be amazing. And I know he's not here too often, so virtually would probably make more sense for him. But he is like mind blowing. Like he will blow your mind. So
that's what we want.
Absolutely. I think him on here. And then as far as the conversation and how it flowed, I think we're having a conversation.
That's a vibe.
And radio, we have to write down certain questions. And then you have artists that say you can't ask this, you can't ask that. Like it's very specific, you know? We're asking a lot of times about your most recent project. So they're on a tour to talk about what's relevant. I think these conversations are important because whether it's relevant or it's new or it's old, we're going to dive into it. So I think our conversation just naturally flows.
It was a flow. It was a vibe.
I'm happy about it.
This was Honey B. She buzzed through Spin 100 FM.
Buzzing all over your
Buzz.
Spin FM.
She it's a lot of Z's, all right?
Yeah, but it's 4.
Woo.
Just to be exact.
Super detail oriented.
4 Z's.
4 Z's.
I-N and then asterisk. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. This was fun. This is Honey B. iPower 92.1. Radio personality, and shout out to business, business.
CEO, European Wax Center.
CEO of the European Wax Center.
Thank you so much for having me, Randy.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
I can't wait to come back.
Thank you. And we're going to talk about it after the show. We're going to get scheduled because I got a feeling that a lot of people going to want more. Yeah. There's more.
There's so much we could have talked about. Like, I was at the station today and I was talking to RJ and AWOL. And AWOL brought up like, I love Lil Wayne. I was like, oh my God, I smoked 9 blunts with him. It was amazing. He was like, you met Lil Wayne? And so I plugged. I was like, yeah, do you see how high we were right here? Like, this is me just telling a lot, but right, I don't give a fuck. I'm 19, I'm 20 years old, smoking 9 blunts with Lil Wayne just after hosting his concert. Like, those are the experiences like I've had, and if you don't know me, you'd probably not know that.
You know,
but it's fun to think about and it's fun to talk about.
And that's what's good. That's why she's coming back, all right? She's coming back.
Yes.
She agreed to it. She might accept a staple.
I love it.
We might put a staple on her, okay?
Let's do it.
I hope so.
Let's
And then
do it.
we could put pressure on you then.
Let's do it.
Don't say you're gonna do it. Don't let it be the red wine.
Let's do it.
And we're gonna talk about that
it's not.
next episode. We're gonna talk about the red wine.
Okay, we should.
Because it's sweet.
It is. Like me.
All right, yo, this is Honey B, episode 112, and we out. Peace.